Welcome to Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors, endless stories. Novelists Mary Kay Andrews, Kristin Harmel, Kristy Woodson Harvey, and Patti Callahan Henry are 4 longtime friends with more than 70 published books between them. Together, they host Friends and Fiction, with author interviews and fascinating insider talk about publishing and writing, to highlight and support independent bookstores. They discuss the books they've written, the books they're reading now, and the art of storytelling. If you love books and you're curious about the writing world, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friends and Fiction Show. I'm Ron Block.
I'm Mary Kay Andrews.
And this is Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors, endless stories to support indie bookstores, authors, and readers like you.
If you're not with us already, we hope that you will join our Facebook group, which is more than 317,000 members strong.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Oh, mind blown.
Yeah.
We'd also like to invite you to follow us on Instagram and YouTube and to subscribe to our Substack newsletter, which is full of awesome bonus content. You can find out more about our community and all we have to offer at friendsandfiction.com.
Awesome. Okay, get ready. On this episode, we are so excited to welcome our friend, Jessie Q. Sutanto, to discuss her new novel, Read Between the Lies, which is set to be released on February 3rd. Okay, let's tell you a little bit about Jessie before we bring her on. Jessie is the author of several best-selling novels, including Dial A for Aunties, which was a big hit, and 4 Aunties and a Wedding. She grew up shuttling back and forth between Indonesia, Singapore, and Oxford, and considers all 3 places her home. She earned a BA in English Lit from Berkeley and her master's in creative writing from the University of Oxford. The film rights to her novel, Dial A for Aunties, were bought by Netflix in a competitive bidding war. We're going to talk a little bit more about that soon.
Yeah, Jessie happens to have 42 first cousins and 30 aunties and uncles of her own, many of whom live just down the road. She says she used to game, but with 2 little ones and a husband, she doesn't have too much time for hobbies these days. Her new novel, Read Between the Lies, is full of psychological suspense, blurring the line between victim and villain with every chapter. Mindy Kaling describes the novel as a dark, delicious takedown of cancel culture and the publishing industry. Ooh.
Alan, please bring Jessie on. Hello.
Hey, Jessie.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I'm a big fan, and I cannot believe you guys have like over 300,000 followers. That is incredible.
We love it. Yeah, it's incredible. We love it. Love it. But anyway, so officially, welcome to Friends and Fiction. We're excited to talk with you about this book and your career. Read Between the Lies tells the story of Fern. We'll start right out. We're going to dive right in. Tells the story of Fern, a young woman who seemingly has had a hard early life at the hands of her schoolmate, Haven. Now an adult and working a menial job, she gets to realize her dream to be a published author. She joins a social media group for debut authors, thinking she's found her people. Soon, it's revealed that her arch nemesis, Haven, also is debuting a high-profile book. So begins the blurring of the lines between bully and victim as Fern begins a return to believing Haven is out to get her. What would you add to that synopsis? And in our tried and true Friends and Fiction fashion, what is the story really about?
I would add that it's also set during COVID. So there's a lockdown that happens, and that adds to, the spiral that happens. And as for what the story is really about, honestly, I just love unhinged women. So
Perfect. I love that.
In your acknowledgments, you say that this is a true departure for your work. Mm-hmm. In what way do you mean that? And please tell us, where did the original kernel of the idea for the book first appeared for you? And were either of the main characters based on actual authors? Like, was anybody mean to you? I'll
No,
get
thank
them.
God.
I'll get them.
Yeah, we'll take them out.
Yeah, I'll DM you later.
Okay.
So like did you have you heard of this article that came out a few years ago? It was called Bad Art Friend.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah, caused quite the stir in the book world.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
So that was the thing that gave me the idea for this book, because the key thing that happened with Bad Art Friend for me was that, that article first came out and everyone thought that one author, I think her name was Dawn, I can't remember now, but that she was like the villain, and they were siding with the other author. And then there was like another article that came out a short while later revealing a lot of things behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden, like, public opinion changed and flipped so that the other author then became the villain. And then it became like a whole thing where people would fight about it and be like, no, like, this one was like the bigger villain, and no, like people kept like flipping back and forth about it.
Right.
And so that was what I was so obsessed with, how quickly public opinion can change depending on what information comes out. And that was something that I really wanted to tap into with Fern as the main character. I want people to root for her, but then also be like, well, but like, I can't really 100% root for her. And it made me nervous because it's so different from all of my other books. So first of all, it doesn't have a murder. Like, it doesn't have like an exciting murder, and I feel that when I can throw in a dead body, the plot just becomes really exciting. Because the tension is immediately up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one doesn't have it. And there's no romance, there's no humor. So I was really nervous because I was like, well, how can I make the story interesting without relying on my usual stuff like comedy and murder? So yeah, I was very nervous about that.
Well, I think there is murder. It's character assassination.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Okay. But so two of the themes that you dive into in the book are bullying and cancel culture. And beyond the article that you just referenced, what led you to draw such a striking and real expertise to write it so authentically? Because you really nailed it. Were you either of these anything that happened to you in real life?
Not like so explicitly like that, but so debut groups are a real thing. And I just feel like, oh my gosh, they are a blessing and a curse. Because, of course, it's really helpful to be with other authors who are also, it's their first time. Nobody knows what they're doing. But at the same time, oh my God, I swear to God, every single debut group will inevitably, someone will be like, hey guys, let's start a spreadsheet, and put down how big your advance was for your book. And they always are like, they couch it as like because sharing information, will help everyone and blah blah blah. And so everyone will do it, and you will have people with like tiny advances, and then you'll have people who got like the $500,000 deal, and then that breeds insecurity like nothing. Of course, like, you're gonna feel so shitty. And then every debut group, I know, like, has different channels, right? They'll have like the hashtag celebration channel, hashtag commiserations, whatever. And but I always see people kind of like violating those channels. So people who feel insecure might avoid the celebration channel, for example. But inevitably there will always be someone who is kind of humble bragging, and they'll post in like the commiserations channel and be like, oh guys, like my publisher is just like doing so much for me and I just feel so bad about it. you know like
This is
they're scheduling too many interviews, I can't take it. And then they're posting in the commiserations channel, and obviously the people who have zero publicity and marketing will see it, and then they have to pretend to be like, oh, poor you.
oh no. That is so real. That really happens. Do they
Yes.
do they really actually share their manuscripts? That made me go a little,
Yeah. Yes.
where they were, oh my God.
So in my debut group, we did have like a thing where we were like, okay, how can we help one another? And so we were like, oh, let's review each other's books on Goodreads. But then of course we were like, well, we can't review books that we haven't read, so let's all just like exchange manuscripts. Just a huge mess because we didn't know
Yeah.
what we were doing. So I wouldn't say that like, I got bullied or anything like that, but I just witnessed a lot of these very awkward situations.
Yeah. They obviously stuck with you though, because you put them out
Yeah.
on the page so beautifully.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's been a long time since I had made my debut.
Mhm.
Jesse, one of the most compelling plot lines in the book was recreating what life was like for authors with books coming out as a pandemic hit, and literally causing PTSD to those affected. Now, I don't know if you know this, but we started Friends in Fiction 5 years ago because of
Oh.
the lockdown. Yeah, the
Yeah.
four of us at the time, there were five of us. We all had books coming out in the spring, and our tours were canceled, and bookstores were shuttered, and libraries were shuttered.
Mhm.
And so we decided, this was one way to deal with that. So what drew you to highlight that time in your story? And I'm imagining that you must have been impacted by that in real life also.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, total PTSD. I put this in the book, which is that like when the pandemic first started, I remember they shut schools down, and my kids were very little at the time, so they were going to like nursery school or kindergarten, I think they were in. And they shut that down. And I remember talking to my sister-in-law and us being like, oh my God, like they're gonna be home for 2 weeks. This is crazy, and like, God, 2 weeks, that's so long. Oh, you know, not knowing
Yep.
what was
Little
gonna
did you know.
happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I put that in the book, where Fern is like, oh my God, 2 weeks, that's so long, but how am I gonna manage for 2 whole weeks? I think that time was such a strange time, and personally for me, it had a lot of personal highs because that was the time when my publishing career actually took off. That was the time when I sold Dial A for Aunties. So and then my husband, he did really well with his career during that time. Like it just so happened that way, and so I remember feeling like really happy, but then also feeling really depressed. And then I didn't understand why I was feeling depressed, even though such good things were happening. And then I kind of, looking back, I realized like, well, because we were so isolated, and so then that gave me too much time to focus on like the little insecurities. And so I was like, gosh, that was such a complex and layered time, and it must be so difficult, like for everyone, and everyone must have had like so many mixed feelings about it as well. I thought that was a
Right.
really interesting time to write about.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
I guess there's so many different experiences through that too, and I think
Mhm.
people are just getting to the point where they're comfortable talking about it, because I think we've
Yeah.
all had like good and bad stories that have happened during that time. Like some people learned to make sourdough bread, and other
Yeah.
people and other people just couldn't stand it. They couldn't take it. They
Yes.
didn't find a way out of it. So I think we all
Yes.
have stories that they'll start to come out soon. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to the book a little bit. Another really successful thing you've done in this book is combining humor and plenty of tension. Can you talk about your process in making that work so well?
So I never planned for humor, but I realized
Oh, it's
like
there.
I've always used humor, um, I don't know, like as a coping mechanism or something. So then it just kind of bleeds out into my writing. But
Cool.
unfortunately, it was not planned. I only planned for it to be suspenseful. But I'm glad that humor came out anyway.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. It's all through the book. I mean, little asides and things. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, if you try too hard, it shows. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
with
Right.
humor, it's sort of,
Right.
it's so nebulous. If you try to explain humor, you ruin it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's either there or
Yeah.
it's not, I think. Yeah. And I think both of you, Mary Kay and Jesse, you both just kind of, it flows off the page when you're writing.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say, Mary Kay, your humor is ah chef's kiss.
Oh,
It's so
thank you.
like it's authentic. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
thank you.
not
yeah.
coming off cringy. I feel like humor is really difficult because if you don't do it authentically, then it does come off cringy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think the
so
factor comes in when you just try to explain it. If you're writing in fiction, I think if you're writing jokes, then you know
Yes. Yeah.
it takes reader out of the story. Like, oh, she
Yeah.
made a joke instead of
Oh yeah.
reader kind of
Exactly.
chuckling to
Yeah.
themselves and keep them going. Don't you think?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
I agree. Agreed.
Um Yeah, and I feel like a lot of humor does actually come out of like our secret insecurities. So,
Yep.
for example, with the sourdough in the book, so Fern has
Oh,
the sourdough starter that she calls Dolores, which
I
I'm very proud
love
of, by
that.
the way.
I
And
love that.
and she's so proud of the name, yeah, and everything. And then later she finds out that her arch nemesis Haven also has a sourdough starter, and she also named it, and its name is Bradley Cooper. and
Right. I like
and
Dolores better.
well, so then and it's a stupid little thing, right? But to Fern, it's like, oh my God, like I can't even have this one thing to myself.
hmm
She's got to steal that attention too. And to be honest with you, that was actually something I did struggle with during the pandemic, see, because too much time I was spiraling because I had a sourdough starter and I named it Dorothy. Sorry. and then my freaking cousin, like, she was like, "Oh, my starter's name is Brad Pitt," and everyone was like, "Oh my God,
Oh.
so good!" And I was like, "So good."
Now across the world, people are going to go into their kitchens and say, I am renaming
Yeah.
you. Like your
Yes.
name is now
Yes.
Flower.
Yes. And I genuinely, oh my God, I genuinely like lost sleep over it, I was like trying to come up with like better names, and I was like Christian Dior.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yep.
really it was not good. So
Emotion, yeah.
I put that into the book because
This is
yeah.
when your writing friends stage an intervention, Jesse.
Yes.
Enough.
Yes,
It's also,
exactly.
I think it's like work avoidance technique. It's like
Yes.
yesterday I was like, I should work on the new book, or I could clean off my bathroom counter.
Yeah.
Yes,
What do you
exactly.
think? Without
Yeah.
spoilers, Jesse, you bring this novel to a surprising, shocking, emotional conclusion that had us dropping our jaws. Did you tell us about your process? Did you have that and the plot in general mapped out ahead of time? So the short way of asking this question is, are you a plotter or a pantser?
Mhm. So I am a plotter. And like I have zero chill with my plots. Like I have a 7-page synopsis, and then I have a chapter by chapter outline. And I always hear authors being like, "Oh, I had an outline, but then my characters like decided to go a different direction." And I'm like, "No, no, no. I am a Chinese mother. Like my characters listen to me. They know. Like they're too scared to veer from the outline."
So you're a tiger mom.
Yeah.
I mean, I always swore, that I would never be like my mom. But you know what? Yeah, I think I have to own it,
That's funny.
Well, I envy you that the idea that you would have a chapter by chapter breakdown. I have a 4-page, very cryptic synopsis to start with my next book, and I'm just staring at it. So I really, really envy you that talent, because I think it is to be able to construct a plot ahead of time.
Yeah.
I don't have
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite part of the writing process, I have to say.
But it's so necessary.
Yeah. It saves a
It's
lot
got to
of
be
time.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because I thought as I was getting towards the end of the book, and we won't give anything away, but I was like, I sent an email right away to Mary Kay. I was like, I can't believe what just happened. So
See,
people are going to be really embracing this book, I know. But you did a recent Substack interview with our beloved Meg Walker for Friends in Fiction Substack, and she asked you how you've written 14 plus books across genres and ages since 2021. And in that interview, you revealed a recent diagnosis of ADHD. Can you share here with us a little bit about that diagnosis and how that impacts your work?
Yes, so the diagnosis was so recent. It was about a year ago. And after I got it, it brought me so much relief, because I was like, oh my gosh, this explains so much. And I actually, I thank ADHD for giving me the ability to speed write. So what happened was when I first started writing, my first book took 3 years to finish because I didn't know what I was doing. And then, I submitted it to agents, got a lot of rejections. And I just kept writing book after book. But after I think like 3 or 4 books and nothing but rejections, it took a toll on my mental health. And I was losing my confidence. And I don't know if you have this. There's like a very mean inner voice, like whenever I write, and it's just continuously like telling me, oh wow, that sentence was so clunky. Oh no, like this character is terrible. The dialogue, it sucks, etc. And I realized that if I write at like a normal speed, the voice would get too loud, and then it'll end up like overwhelming me, and I will quit writing. I might even like give up on that book. So then I started speed writing. So I would set a timer with for 15 minutes, and during that 15 minutes, I can only write, like no editing. And I don't even take a sip of my coffee during that 15 minutes. I'm only allowed to write. And then 15 minutes is up, then I can take a little break, and then I come back and do another 15 minutes. And that was how I started writing my books. And because of that, over time, I could write 500 words in 15 minutes. And so I only needed to do like 4 15-minute chunks, and then I'd be at 2,000 words for the day. And then I'm done for the day. And so then that system then allowed me to write like 3 books a year, like pretty quickly. Yeah. And then it's so strange when I learned about like ADHD, and I read that people with ADHD work really well under time pressure. And I was like, oh my God, I just stumbled into it, without realizing that it was an actual method. And I just stuck with it because it works so well for me. And it's thanks to like the ADHD thoughts, like the mean voice and the anxiety and everything that forced me to speed write. So yeah, it's very weird that this condition, I feel like I have to thank it. Like I'm thankful for it, despite all of the other things, all of the other terrible things that have happened because of it. Like my insane forgetfulness. Like I've lost my passport before in a foreign country. That's not great. but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I think the pros outweigh the cons.
I think that the big thing about, I think I probably have ADHD. I was never diagnosed. My son, who's almost 40, was diagnosed in high school, at the start of high school. But I think, once you learn how to accommodate it. And it's so funny you say that about timers. Yesterday, when I decided I had to clean up my bathroom, which I didn't want to do, I set a timer for an hour. I'm like, all you have to do is do it for an hour. And then I have started doing that with my writing too, because I'm so distracted.
Yeah.
So
I think there are many of us who can follow that. I love that timer thing. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. During COVID, the 4 of us, myself, Patti, Kristy, and Kristin, we would wake up at 7 a.m. All of us. We all live in the South. And I would send out a prompt and say, hey, who wants to sprint? And we would do an hour writing sprint. And at the end of the hour, everybody would report back, what you accomplished.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about you again. Your big breakout debut was Dial A for Aunties. Tell us about that journey. And just how excited are you that Netflix is adapting it?
I mean, it's unreal, honestly. Yeah. So that actually, literally, it happened the week Indonesia went into lockdown. Like the auction and everything, I basically just did not sleep for like 12 nights because all of the calls would be happening at like 1 a.m. my time. But then, I was very deliriously happy. So, and it was very interesting seeing how different, like auction in publishing versus auction in Hollywood, is. Like, so publishing auction, like everyone is so well behaved, they wait for the agent to like set the rules, and they adhere to like the deadline, and they're so courteous about everything. And then Hollywood auction is like a bloodbath, like just people like swooping in and not like really bad mouthing the others, but kind of like gently
right
dissing them. And even after like it sold to Netflix, my film agent said, well, just be prepared for it to be announced at any time, because a lot of the times what happens when there's like an auction like this, the competitors who didn't get the product are very bitter, and then they will leak it to the news. And I was like, what? And my agent, my literary agent too, was like, what? Like, that would never happen in publishing. I guess we're all nerds in publishing.
I had a thought. We mentioned earlier you have a lot of aunties. What was your family's reaction to that book? Did they think, are you writing about me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So luckily, most of my, like my mom and dad's generation, they don't, they speak English, but they're not proficient enough to like read a novel in English. So they don't even know like what really like happens in the book. I'm like, yeah, no, I wrote about like how much I love my aunties, and they're like, oh, that's so nice.
I take it you haven't been translated into Chinese.
No, not dial A for aunties. So, thank goodness for
that. That would be quite a family reunion if they all knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, staying on with adaptations and things, Read Between the Lies is your first book with Mindy Kaling's new book imprint, Mindy's Book Studio. But Mindy and Oprah are also both attached to produce the Warner Brothers television adaptation of Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. What is it like to work with these two powerhouse women in adapting your work?
Well, I'm not actually working with them. I think like I have not like spoken with them at all.
Okay.
I am like a peon. But I can tell you, the day that I got like the news, that they were interested, I was preparing my kids' lunch boxes for school, and it was like 6 a.m. my time, and I saw the email and I was like, oh my God. And I can tell you that the lunchbox that day sucked. I don't remember what I put in there. I think I just threw
Whatever
in
was
some
there.
crackers.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. I was like,
Here's a sweet potato. Let's take that.
Yeah.
Yes.
My kids came home and they were like, Mama, like the lunch today, no, that was not good. I was like, I don't even remember what was in it. Was it like just plain white rice? I mean, I don't know.
So you made the leap now, and you're the first book from Mindy's imprint. What is that like, and what made you decide to go that direction?
Well, it's Mindy, like I don't think anyone can say no to Mindy Kaling.
True.
And again, I've never spoken with her, but she did write like an introduction for it, and
She did.
I read that like several times over, and then I would like kiss it and be like, "Thank you, Mindy."
I can imagine.
It's a dream. Like, I mean, it just it's insane.
Good. And are you going to continue to publish with her, or are you going to kind of mix it up depending on what book you're writing?
So Mindy's imprint acts a little bit like a book club pick. So even though I had a 2-book deal with Amazon, which is the parent company, my second book will be coming out from a different Amazon imprint because Mindy's can't publish like 2 books by the same author. But yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. But Amazon publishing is quite successful, so it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Good place to be. Okay, so Jessie, if you just stick around with us for another minute, we've got more to talk to you about. But first, we have a few quick reminders for our listeners and viewers out there.
For all of you watching and listening, we encourage you to rush out and buy your copies of Read Between the Lies. The perfect place to do that is in the Friends and Fiction shop on bookshop.org. You'll not only be getting it at a discount, but all your purchases there support our show, our guests, and indie bookstores nationwide.
Yes. And don't forget to visit friendsandfiction.com for details on our show schedule, upcoming in-person events, and links to our merch store, our Substack newsletter sign-up, and the award-winning Friends and Fiction official book club with Brenda and Lisa. Their first book club discussion of the new year will happen on Monday, January 26th, when they will host debut novelist Rebecca Armitage to discuss her irresistible modern fairy tale, The Heir Apparent, which was the December Reese's Book Club pick.
And speaking of our Substack, you can read all our free weekly posts on the Substack website or app, or subscribe for free to get them directly in your inbox. And if you upgrade to our paid Substack, which we hope you will, it's just $5 a month, and you'll have access to deeper dives with all of our weekly show guests like Jesse, plus occasional roundtable discussions and regular in-depth interviews and features with some of your favorite authors, like the recent ones we did with Jamie Brenner and Jesse, as I mentioned. If you enjoy tuning in for our weekly author interviews, this is a big way you can support us for about $1 each week. Check us out at friendsandfiction.substack.com.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse, before we let you go, we got to ask, you have such a big family. Do they give you lots of ideas for plots and characters?
Oh yeah, like, totally, like endlessly. My series, my Vera Wong series, Vera is just 100% my parents combined. I literally just stole so many of their lines. So Vera Wong, she's this older lady who thinks she knows best, for everyone, like my parents. And she would say things like, don't drink ice water because it'll freeze the fats in your arteries and then you'll get a heart attack. That's literally what my parents say whenever like I drink ice water. They're like, why are you drinking ice water? You're going to get a heart attack. And they, and like literally, oh, and then she says, in the book, she says, if you sleep after like later than 9 p.m., you'll get a brain tumor or something like that. And like, again, that's something my parents say. So I have like an endless trove of ideas because my family.
Well,
when you say I owe it all to my family, you really do owe it all to
Yeah, I really do.
Right. And I'll read your work very differently now. I will think it's coming directly from your parents. Great. What do you have coming for us next?
Okay, so I have to like think about it because I have 3 books coming out each year.
Wow.
So the first one this year in February is Read Between the Lies.
Right.
And then the next one is Miss Mabel Goes Back to the Chopping Block. I'm so excited about that. So it's about this 60-year-old trophy wife who thinks, yay, like almost at retirement age, we're gonna just enjoy life. And then her husband suddenly leaves her for their private chef. And so she's like, I'm gonna win him back and I'm gonna go to culinary school since what he wants is a woman who can cook. So she goes off to culinary school, and of course she learns a lot and she grows as a character, and decides, wait, I can't spoil it, but
no, don't spoil it.
If you know my books, you know that like the women, they don't stay submissive, for long. So I'm very excited about that. And then later in the year, I have a like an epic dark fantasy coming out. So super excited about that as well. So yeah, 3 extremely different books.
Yeah. You're everywhere. You're all over the place. I love it. So are you going to tour with Read Between the Lies, and where can people connect with you online and hear more about tours?
People can connect with me on Instagram. It's at Jessie Q Sutanto. There won't be a tour for Read Between the Lies, but there will be one for Miss Mabel, which is in like late April / early May. So I'm so
Great.
excited.
I
Well,
am
we hope we
too.
can catch up with you somewhere along the way.
Definitely.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Jessie. It was a pleasure talking to
Mhm.
you. And thanks for being on the Friends in Fiction show.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, I'm such a
Yeah.
huge fan, so thank you. This was great.
It was our
It really was. You're hysterical. I loved it. Okay, be sure to tune in next Wednesday when Patti, Mary Kay, Kristy, and Kristin will all be together live to welcome author Paula McLean to discuss her new novel, Skylark, which was just named the Good Morning America pick. That show will air on the Friends in Fiction Facebook page and YouTube channel on Wednesday, January 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it will be published to our podcast for your listening pleasure on Friday, January 30th.
Thanks to all of you out there for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you.
Thank you for tuning in. You can join us every week on Facebook or YouTube, where our live show airs on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram. We're so glad you're here.